Hello. Okay. I don't know how comprehensive this will be. I had written about some of this uh, before, and now I can't find out where I left it. But I had not seen the new film, so we're not gonna, going into that one at all. And I think most people consider Last Crusade mostly good and Crystal Skulls mostly bad, so there's not much I want to tackle with either of those right now. Um, Either or redeeming, but still problems. Uh, think, after Temple of Doom, that conversation's been had many, many times. Maybe I'll think of some things that other people haven't complained about already later, regarding especially Last Crusade, but going into Temple of Doom, this is a prequel, so it, some of the jokes again work more as fan service than in context. If Raiders actually did happen after Temple, the whole gun joke with the sword guys, clearly kind of falls apart. In Temple of Doom, we are given no real backstory. We're just thrust into this arbitrary Chinese location, and the beginning is mostly an action sequence after the musical number. I think most people probably consider this the best part of the whole film, and it's all downhill, pun intended, once they are on the raft in the snow after crashing in the Himalayas. Um, we don't get any answers to questions like how long has Indy been in China there to cultivate these relationships? Don't know. In addition to antiquities or whatever, why is he collecting sidekicks, including orphaned children? Don't know. What is Shorty's relationship to relation to the dead Chinese guy? Not the urn guy, but the guy who gets shot. Apparently none. Whatever. Indy has this friend who dies, and in another video I had seen where somebody discussed that. I want to discuss that a little bit further. In fact, I mean, I've seen a lot of people, why didn't they bring back Short Round? Why not this instead of that? Instead of Shia LaBeouf, or instead of the girl in the or Phoebe, whatever, in the new film, the niece. In my opinion, overall, Short Round can go. I couldn't care less. Um, People who are arguing that it would have been better to bring him back in the later movies are just wrong. Why replace one dead sidekick with a younger, more annoying one? Even in Temple of Doom, there are possibilities here that go unexplored, like the Chinese guy doesn't die, but he is gut shot, or something, and he needs medical attention. But when they get to India, then he gets turned into a zombie. Maybe it's more urgent for them to get to Pankot Palace than running an errand for the random villagers. But the end result could still be the same. Sorry, Billy, we can't go to New Delhi just yet because he needs a doctor. That's more important than you getting back to your life or your wardrobe or whatever. Other issues. Obviously, the love affair here is completely problematic, but it's not just because she is annoying and screams the whole time. I mean, why does he expect her to act anything like act her? I can't even talk. Why does he expect her to act like anything other than an urbanite singer? She's not jungle savvy. She doesn't know local foreign customs. Why would she? He's adversarial. He's kind of a jerk, even in casual moments, and Short Round kind of adds to it. Did you talk to him like Dr. Jones, lady? Like, okay, whatever. But like, why is this kid giving me mouth service? I'm the adult. Like in those days, I think she just would have like backhanded him, and that would have shut his little ass up. But then why does Indiana tell her those are vampire bats when he knows they're not? they're probably just fruit bats, right? Is he trying to be funny and frighten her? That's never really like, it's kind of explored but not really fleshed out. He's just kind of like the whole time in the, but then she gets the funny bit with the snake and the elephant, because we already know Indy fears and hates snakes. So again, it's more lip service or fan service. Um, some of the other, sight gags are straight from the first film, like we said. So again, worked great. But for so much of the rest of it, he seemed like almost a different character. I mean, and they got the style of the hat wrong, and everybody could tell. So that was, a problem too. We already know that the roller coaster sequence and some other stuff was holdovers from the first film. So most of that was shoehorned in reasonably enough. The Brit connection thing, though, I felt that could have been like, so it wouldn't have been so Deus Ex Machina at the end there. Not sure. Maybe a scene of somebody running to get them so that they would be slightly less like, yay, the cavalry's here. Even though Raiders technically was even more so, because all of a sudden magic saves the day. Although there is that element of magic on the fallen bridge with the rocks and all that. Yeah, I really don't want to talk about that movie that much anymore. Even though, like I said, I think that it just could have been better. Raiders, obviously, most people consider this a nearly flawless film. It has action, it has comedy, it has romance. Oh, pardon the technical glitch there, or what I'm calling a technical glitch. So what I was saying, it has action, it has comedy, it has romance, it has obscure religious stuff that seems reasonable enough for a period movie with cool costumes and evil villains. It skimps only slightly on exotic locations and whatever else we could nitpick. I mean, we'd like to see a little bit more of the Nepal than the desert, however you want to parse that out. My main issue is actually the presence of the Germans in Egypt, which was or is still just a post-British colony pre-war. Something we need to touch up on in Last Crusade. They made it, Hatay, some fictional place with a Farouk style king, and they bribe him with cars, and he gives them his own soldiers to deal with. And so the German contingent isn't so a militaristic armed presence in a foreign country. So yeah, how are they, just operating in uniform undetected? I mean, the Suez Canal didn't fall. The British held that territory. I think those German uniforms with the green jacket and the tan pants, those weren't even issued until like 1942, I think. So they're in the wrong outfit to begin with. I think it would make more sense actually if these were Italian soldiers, because they were pulling operations in Ethiopia around that time. I guess most people would find this confusing, and it might bog down the plot slightly with geopolitical explanation. But really for only about a scene or two, and those could be scenes where Renee Belloq's heritage or past could be explained instead of just speculated by fans since then, along with his motives and all that. The whole in the one of the videos, there was some backstory where it says the main German officer is a Nazi, but in his uniform he's not wearing any Nazi emblems like the guy in Last Crusade. He's just wearing a straight German army uniform, so we don't know that. Everybody just calls them Nazis interchangeably. So again, kind of weird. And how they already have like this presence in places near Malta and bases underground, and they seem pretty. Everybody just kind of dismisses it. Yeah, they're the Germans. They're everywhere. It's like, well, not really yet at that time, I don't think. Again, kind of more the Italians would, and then it would be more maybe the Germans working with the Italians would again, bogs down the story. I understand, but politically or historically, possibly slightly more accurate. But I still think, yeah, they should be walking around the desert miserable in gray wool coats. But then that would require, more explanation for a whole sentence or two when, Belloq is arguing with Dietrich. My men are hot. We're working as fast as we can, monsieur. Um, something along those lines. I don't know. What else is the bit with the monkey? I think is the part that's the most nonsensical. Like, one minute there's this spy guy. Other people have discussed this already, and then all of a sudden the spy guy's just gone because his monkey's dead. Like, you kind of expected him to do a little bit more, and then he just sort of vanishes. In both that movie and Last Crusade, there's all these German, like, undercover guys running around. That makes a little bit more sense. These kind of dirty spy types than, like I said, armed soldiers. So debate, discuss, get back to me in the comments what I missed.